What's up, everybody? I am former player Hannibal Navies, and today we are going to have a very candid conversation with some giants of the NFLPA around former player benefits and resources. We on the rise. When I started back in 2013, the word mental health and what that meant and the resources were very scarce, and talking about mental health was scary. It was also like you can't really talk about it out loud, and you know, it was a stigma on it and all that kind of stuff. You fast forward 2025, we're light years away than where we were to being able to openly talk about mental health and how that affects you and how it affects you in your transition. So, I've seen the resources just take leaps and bounds as well, as far as what you guys have been able to offer to former players in this transition when it comes to mental health.
I'll speak to how we connect on the connectivity around the former players department, PAF, and the trust, and how we support players with mental health. As we started in the around the other dialogue with wife and player, and that being a core ecosystem. The player in of himself is an ecosystem, right? So there are things that impact the player's mental health. For example, a player may be struggling financially. That can impact his mental health. The player may have extreme body pain. That can impact his mental health. So in those instances, a player may be participating in our PT program, will leverage the PAF to manage his financial status, as well to support his mental health. And those things working together, right, at the same time can improve his mental health.
Great point, Z. I think, and I'm sorry I cut you off, no, I think it's a great point. I think a lot of people think mental health is just strictly up here and that's it. And it's just like, you know, going to a counselor or a therapist is the only way that you can, you know, start solving your mental health. And as my experience working in this field of mental health, it is what you're talking about. It is a lot of different things going on in this player's life. Financial, his relationship with his wife and his kids, his body is killing him, so he's a little like down and depressed because he can't move like he used to, can't play with his kids. His financial situation is not where he wants it to be, so that drains him because he's the head of the household. So there's so many different pieces that play into a mental health, and some people just like, oh, they need this, but you guys, like what you brought up, and I think it's a great conversation that we can have, like, you know, I talked about us all working together and there's different departments and stuff because there's different things that players need to, and it might not seem like it, getting somebody to Exos or getting somebody, you know, that might not seem like it's mental health work, but it is. Getting somebody a job might not seem like mental health work, but it is, right? Because you're getting somebody whole and getting them back to a place of that. So talk about that a little bit, because it's beyond just what other people think mental health is and how you help it.
Now, I love how you brought that together, because the chapter system is another component of this whole ecosystem, which it's that's part of, you know, our sweet spot and what we try to develop. We have 37 chapters around the country now.
Wow,
and
that's incredible.
That is the socialization of our former players, providing them that locker room, no matter where they are, no matter where they play. You know, because guys feel some kind of way. If I lived in Charlotte but I didn't play for the Panthers send out all the Panthers alumni stuff, and you don't feel like you're part of that organization.
Just because I live in Charlotte don't mean I play for the Panthers, but I still need that connection, right?
Exactly. But the PA chapter system is for everyone. And like I said, nobody's walking around with an icon over their head saying, I did this, this, and this, right? You're a former player. This is your locker room. You can come in, you can socialize, you could be around your guys, around your peers, you get back in that locker room. The dropping of the temperature, the easing of the pain, the voicing of the issues and concerns, the learning about benefits and resources, and just that feel-good emotional cup that gets filled again is extremely important to our socialization. I think that's a powerful piece of why the chapter system is so important and why it's grown over the years. And guys are calling saying, hey, we need a chapter over here, we need a chapter over here, because they realize the value when they go to Arizona. And they go to the Phoenix chapter and they see all the guys going. Atlanta, largest chapter system we have, they have over 1,000 guys down there. They get 80, 90 guys to a meeting. That's important. And they see, man, I missed that. I want to get that. And so when they go there, they learn about all the stuff that we have. They learn about all the stuff that we have. But they also feel fulfilled, and they feel like that locker room piece is back, and they've been back around guys that they understand. I think that's part of the socialization is extremely valuable.
Yeah, and just to expound on the chapter system and what you're doing and how you've grown that out, I think you hit up on a good point. Like and this is something I want to open up to everybody, but the connectivity, the social interaction, personal interaction piece of it, as we talked about this, and the mental, like you said, that plays a role into the mental health being a part of that fraternity again. Tell me a little bit all of you, I know you got the chapter system, but you also do more than that to bring guys together. All of you, different departments do things that are front facing, that get guys out the house, that get guys connected to each other, and that get guys connected to the benefit as well. So start with you, Dre. I mean, I think, like I said, you do a lot of stuff on the low that people don't know the PF does, but you do a lot of stuff, right? And a lot of it is also front facing, a lot of events, a lot of things that touch players where they are as well. So talk a little bit about that.
I mean, our events offering, I'm lucky because I'm in a space where I can be very creative, and not just me, but my team. I don't have a lot of good ideas, but my team has great ideas. So the creativity with our events is fun. We do our annual fundraiser at the Super Bowl, Smocks and Jocks. It's really an opportunity to showcase active players and former players' ability to create art. And we put that on display on a big stage at the Super Bowl. More than 100 players come to that event. So it is a player engagement. While we're at the Super Bowl, we do Painting with the Pros, which is an opportunity for our former players and some active players to connect with the Super Bowl community. We go into a high school and the players paint together with the kids. It's taking the helmet off and showing the community at large that all players are so many different things and capable of so much. But more of our former player ecosystem programming. We've done a couples retreat where we'll take 20 or 25 couples for a weekend. And just, we talk about, having a better relationship, being able to communicate better with your spouse, again, leaning into wellness. So we have yoga and all these things. And then we let them go off and we give them some free time and let them practice, what they've learned. And then we come back together and celebrate that. But it's a beautiful weekend. So we're always trying to reimagine that event. But again, I'm in a space where we're able to kind of be nimble and change from year to year. So I'm just excited. I just want to continue to listen. I'm getting older, but I want to be able to continue to listen to my young staff, listen to the young players that are becoming former players, and try and build things that work for them.
Smocks and Jocks is one of my favorite events, the Super Bowl too, man. So the way you've grown that entity out is amazing, man, and being able to showcase players and their other skill sets. And it's players that I've seen there and standing next to their paintings, and I might even know it's their paintings. I'm like, I'm sitting there like, I love that painting, not knowing that that player or current or former player actually painted that or created that. So that's amazing that you're able to do that. And like I said, the food is always good.
Yes,
always
sir.
that comes.
Yes,
so
sir.
Don't ever take away my ticket to be there. So we're gonna be good.
You're
But
always
you guys,
welcome.
Yeah, so I would say, to Nolan's point, social isolation may be the enemy of mental health. In recognition of that, the Trust has the community and connection pillar, providing routine opportunities for us players to build and nourish and continue to grow the brotherhood. 3 of our staple Trust events: one, the Trust golf outings, which we've had 2 in the last couple months, and we've seen the greatest participation in our last 2, over 70 players participating in the last 2 golf outings. We also do the Super Bowl locker room, which we did in partnership with the former players department last year, showing that we recognize, hearing from players, that they know there's a litany of services, a litany of departments, a litany of entities working on their behalf, but they want to see these entities working on their behalf, working better together. In recognition of that, we partnered and we saw the greatest number of players attending, over 300 in our last Super Bowl locker room. We also do the Super Bowl viewing party, providing opportunities for players to, with other players, watch the game, because we all can't get a ticket to the game, right? So we allow players and guests to come in, have a good time during the greatest game of the year, where all of America is in front of the TV. We're in front of the TV together, watching our guys go out there and put it on the line.
And I think that's important too, because before that was even created, I remember going to Super Bowl, and it's like, as a former player, even the current player at Super Bowl, you can't get into everything. Sometimes they lock you out your own stuff, right? So to have something that is, as a player, that's ours, that's mine, that I can definitely go to every year, look forward to, like, okay, I'm definitely going to go to this and go to that. So you guys providing that space. If I live in that Super Bowl city, being able to provide that space to have, connectivity and activity is super important. I've seen it grow over the years, and like, guys look forward to that. Guys look forward to being a part of that Super Bowl locker room and that Super Bowl viewing party, because it's like, it's theirs, right? They can own it, they are accepted, and they, receive. Because just because it's a Super Bowl doesn't mean they're accepting everybody that's a former player there. So that's good that you guys do that.
Everybody watching is going to make it worse for you, so I hate to even chime on that one, but the hottest ticket is the viewing party.
Yeah, for sure.
You're always calling to get in the viewing party because that's their own special
That's
piece.
theirs, yeah.
And I mean, guys really love being a part of that. It's just amazing. So.
And I know we talk about this, and we're talking about it as like an event, but it is still a resource, right? So that's the thing I used to talk to, I used to always tell people all the time, because events are not just events by themselves. These events are resources that play into everything that you guys have been talking about. They're not just there just to say, hey, have a party or just come out, eat and drink. These are all events that serve a purpose for their transition.
That's a great point. When we talk about the research which was done by IDO, social isolation was identified as one of the key contributors of poor mental health, which again, why we have the community and connection pillar. So yes, it's not just an event, it's another opportunity to provide a service to help players thrive.
Absolutely, 100%. So let's dig into these services a little bit, man, because I think it's important, because there's so much. We're not going to be able to get through all of them, but they're so vast. But let's start with the simple something like Nolan. Like one of the things you guys have in the Foreign Players Department is our discount and our platform for our discounts and the app. Like, dig into that a little bit and how you are starting to connect these resources, the benefits, and all the stuff through the app. But I love my Kohan benefits. So talk about, talk a little bit about some of those benefits, because guys just don't know these beyond the chapters and beyond that. They don't even know these little soft benefits exist.
Right. You said exactly right. In the association world, there are soft benefits. But when I took over, one of the things that we were looking at is, I looked at it from an associated consumer standpoint. Okay, what are the things that our guys take advantage of the most? And to this day, whether it's the app, whether it's on NFLPA.com, the most clicked on thing for spouses and players are discounts. And people might think that's contradictory because guys make a lot of money. I can guarantee you this. I don't care how much money I make, my wife is looking for that discount. Sure. So that has always been and is. So we built and we have a really robust now discount program, and continuing to bring it on. Kiara Clark is in our department, and she's done a phenomenal job continuing to build that program. But I can't believe the amount and the depth that we have in the different categories, and that just speaks to here's a need. We have awesome skilled people to increase that need, to really address that, increase the offerings so we can offer more and more to our guys, right? But also, and as former players, we could attest to this, it's different now when we came out, right?
Absolutely.
When we came out, we couldn't count on all fingers how many former player programs that existed for us. Now, the criticism, if you want to call it that, is that there's so much it's confusing, right? So the origin of us building the app was, let's address this problem. It's not really a problem, but let's address this problem. Like, I'm going to try to figure out how I can get one place that I can get all of our stuff. So everything that we offer, and some things that even some of like the Legends is now on there, and like Player Care Foundation is on there, but we try to put as many things for our former players across the board, no matter who you are, no matter how long you played, everything in one place, and that's what the NFLPA app is. And to address the community part of it also, it's going to be 8,000. My goal is to get to 8,000 by the end of the year. Players that are on the app, right? And so guys are using this. There's its own Twitter, its own Facebook, its own social media, and it's just us. So it's our private community. Guys are in there. They're talking about their kids. They're talking about their grandkids. They're talking about I put job stuff on there. It's just our own environment for us to get that little bit of love, give each other support and encouragement through our own community, and making sure that you have resources and opportunities that are there. And by design, all you have to do is engage with the app. You engage with the app. You interact on it, you learn stuff on there, you learn about benefits and resources, and you gain coins, and those coins can get you swag. And just like the sneakers app and all that stuff, man, guys pull thumb muscles when they try to get some of that swag that we put on there. So it's just been such a treat to see how that has developed and been really good for our guys, because it addresses that need. But it's just, we also get data from that.
Right.
And data is important. So, okay, what are our guys engaging with? What is important to them? And we can see that and we can adjust that way
So
too.
if I'm a player just retiring, could that be an entry point for me to that app? Could that be an entry point for me to get to all these resources that we're talking about? Because it's a lot, right? If I didn't know all this stuff, it's a lot of information.
Absolutely.
So is this an entry point for me that you would suggest if I was a young player coming out the league to go to and get to all these resources?
It is a great entry point to education. Absolutely. It'll get you connected. It would be nice universally that it would become a player app across the board, but as it is right now, it's a great point because it has everything, no matter what stage of life, no matter how many years you had, it has everything for every former player. That should be kind of a staple. Like you have the NFLPA app, you should have the NFLPA former player app, and that will lead you to all the resources. And it's so, you open up the front face, trust, Player Care Foundation, NFL player benefits, discounts. It's all right there, super easy, and all you have to do is engage.
Dre, I know your core benefit, financial assistance. How does that work, and what are the guidelines around it so our players understand what that is, so they understand, is this where I need to start, is this where I need to go? And like I said, you guys add financial assistance, but you provide a lot of assistance in general, whether it's around for paying for, certain, so let me let you dig into that. Like, 'cause people don't always know what you're giving financial assistance for and how that works, right? You're not just writing a check. Like, how does this work?
And I have to be careful not calling it a benefit because there's no guarantee that you're going to get the financial assistance. So it's truly a program. But it's for all players. If you've signed an NFL contract, you have the opportunity to apply for financial assistance when you're facing a tough time. And a tough time is a lot of different things to lots of different people. But what the foundation focuses on most when it comes to financial assistance is making sure that the players have a place to live. So we spend the lion's share of that money on mortgage and rent. If a player has a job and he can't get there because someone's trying to repossess his car, just being honest, we spend another great portion of our resources on making sure guys still have mobility. But really that's it. It's like, need is a lot of different things. So sometimes it's housing, sometimes it's, some unpaid medical bills, sometimes so that a player can, properly go back to school. Sometimes there's old school bills that need to be taken care of. So we're an open book. If a player has a need, just submit it. We have a committee that reviews that, and the committee makes the final judgment on what will be granted. But like I said, 600 players a year apply. The approval rating is between 75 and 80%. So we're providing a great service. I wish we had even more money to do more. I hate to say no to any players because it's important if they call. But no, that's the core of what we do. And again, Gene Upshaw's vision for that was incredible, and it's so important today.
Is there a cap on the number of the financial assistance they can get a year? Is it once a year? Is it a certain amount of number of years? Do I have to come every other? Like, give me a little bit about that.
Yeah, you can only apply once every 3 years. Sometimes we do hear emergency appeals.
You can apply or receive the financial assistance.
Well, yeah, that's probably a better way to say it. You can only receive assistance once every 3 years. So there's a 3-year waiting period. Sometimes we do hear emergency cases. Sometimes players pass away. The family needs assistance to bury that player. So we do provide that service as well. But yeah, every 3 years you can apply. The process is really simple. There's an application that you fill out online. You download all your documents through the link, and then you're off to the races.
So what's the website where they can go and get the guidelines of what they need to do?
Yeah, so it's yourpaf.com, yourpaf.com. The maximum allowed is 20,000. You can apply for up to 20,000. Sometimes the committee has the ability to go above and beyond that, but that doesn't happen often. So yeah, yourpaf.com, up to 20,000, and every 3 years you're eligible.
And I know you. Sometimes I feel for you because you're in this position, but financial assistance is always an emergency, right? So how do you? I know you guys have a process, but how do you deal with that fire that needs to be put out?
my team is amazing.
Yeah.
So from the time of your completed application to payment is less than 14 days.
Wow.
So it's fast. And then we also have the ability to do things even faster if it's a dire situation where, you know, the guy's facing eviction, you know, the sheriff's on his way. You know, in those situations, we can act faster. We try and limit that because everyone has an emergency and everyone thinks that it has to happen today. But, you know, for legal purposes, you know, you have to go through the application process and produce all the documents. So we're proud of the work that we've done.
I'm going to toot their horn too, because he's not giving himself any credit for the fact that, I'm going to say, the way he's built this team. 7, 8 years ago, that waiting period was 48 days.
Yeah, it was wow. I remember.
It's a long
Now
time.
it's
That's
under 15, under
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
That shows a lot.
It is, man. That's incredible because I remember it did take a lot of time because you guys wanted to be thorough and stuff, but you guys have found a way to be thorough a lot faster, man. That's good stuff. Zamir, tell me, you guys have also a plethora of benefits, but I want to start with what, as an executive director, what is your most used benefit, and talk about that.
Cool. Yeah, our most used benefit or our most popular benefit is our brain and body benefit. It's probably the best armor, I would say, that we send our captains out in the field with. If you don't know, our captains are former players who serve as our boots on the ground, utilizing their experience to educate other former players to bring them into benefit.
Right.
So it's great for them to have that brain and body and holster.
Right.
It is a comprehensive head-to-toe physical, including a brain MRI. Players can have that physical once every 5 years for their lifetime. Over 4,000 players have taken advantage of that benefit and growing.
I love that benefit. I've used it, but you get every 5 years, so I've been around long enough. I've used it couple times, right? And to me, I love it because after football, we do so much hiding of our injuries and we do so much hiding of the things that are wrong with us. It's an opportunity. Now we're done. We don't have to hide those things and what's really going on, getting a diagnosis of where you are from head to toe and not just getting a regular physical and saying, okay, we took your blood and hit your knee a couple times and like, okay, you're good to go. But really digging into your mental, your neuro, and seeing where you are, your speech therapy, and how you live, your lifestyle and career stuff. They add that to it now, even on your brain and body, and just going and digging into everybody's physical shape is different. And really, you know, I've noticed that they also meet the player where they are. So everybody that comes in, they don't just give them the same physical. They don't just give them the same brain and
100%.
body, right? They go in there and they
100%.
customize it to what their needs are. And I think that's super important. It's probably one of the best. It is the best physical benefit that I've ever been on because it gives you a study of your whole body and life, and you get this packet of like, you can open this thing up and they're telling you everything you need, where you are and where you need to go and how you get better, right? So having that blueprint or that roadmap or playbook of your health from top to bottom, I don't think there's anything that's more important than that, man. So kudos to you guys for evolving that because I've seen the evolution of that. And so, you know, where do you see that going though?
Where do we see the brain and body going? Right now, we are looking to expand the brain and body program by bringing on new partnerships or new partners because of the popularity of the benefit, just to meet the demand. So we're looking in cities where former players are densely populated, the Atlantas of the world, the Houstons of the world, to grow the benefit vis-a-vis expanding the capacity of the benefit. We constantly have our medical directors looking at the assessments we provide, along with feedback from former players with information like what's coming through the Harvard study to ensure that we're providing the right assessments to tell us where former players are in their health and wellness.
You guys also take care of the spouses as well, which I thought Team Harrison, when we just did ours a few months ago, it was so important for my wife, Susan, to be at the brain and body with me. And you guys fly our spouses, our significant others out, so that's part of that, making that family unit healthy and whole.
Yeah, while we don't provide the actual assessment to the spouse, to his point, travel, accommodations, meals, the physical is for the player, but the wife can be a part of that experience.
So here's a question for you. This might be a tough one, Z, but I get this all the time from players with this brain and body and the hesitation is always because of these lawsuits or because of my line of duty or my total impairment or this concussion lawsuit or all these different things that are going on, and they're afraid that if they go, this could uncover this and this or not uncover this. So tell me a little bit, like, give me, if you're speaking to me and I'm a player, like, I don't know if I want to go to that, what would you tell me to make sure to make sure I get my brain and body if I'm skeptical because I don't want to interfere with my upcoming things? Like, what would you tell me?
So our brain and body program falls under HIPAA privacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you own your health information. So the trust cannot take your health information and share it with anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the power to take your health information and share it with someone else. So we protect and our partners make sure that your health information is protected.
Mm-hmm.
So you have no concern or should have any worry towards someone accessing your health information unless you want to.
We on the ride.